40 years. 40 years of wandering, of waiting, of a promise deferred. Now, the wilderness is behind them. The generation of doubt has perished, and a new army, forged not in slavery, but in faith, stands ready. From the heights of Mount Nebo, Moses is gone. The journey's end for him, but for a nation, the beginning. The mission is not over. And the voice of God cuts through the silence. My servant Moses is dead. Now arise. Lead this people into the land I promised them. Every place your foot treads shall be yours. Be strong and courageous. For just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. Joshua, son of Nun, a warrior, not a prophet, felt the weight of history and the power of God. He had waited his entire life. He rose, gathered the leaders, and declared, "The time has come. In 3 days, we cross the Jordan." An old man, Caleb, stood beside him. His eyes, though aged, burned with the fire of youth. 40 years ago, only you and I believed the promise. The others perished. But God has sustained us. Today, it is our turn to fight for what is ours. The Scarlet Cord. Before the crossing, before the battle, there was Jericho, impenetrable, a defiant fortress. Joshua sent 2 spies, but Jericho was already trembling. They had heard of the Red Sea, of the kings beyond the Jordan. Terror had fallen upon them. The spies found refuge with Rahab, a woman of ill repute, yet with a heart full of faith. She hid them, and when the danger passed, she spoke. "I know the Lord has given you this land. Spare me and my family." One spy answered, "Tie a scarlet cord in your window. When God delivers this city into our hands, you and your family will live, because you have shown faith." They escaped. They reported to Joshua, "The people of Jericho are terrified. God has already given the city into our hands." The unstoppable river. The day arrived. The Jordan River was at flood stage, a raging, impossible barrier. God gave the command, "Let the priests take the Ark of the Covenant and go before the people. When their feet touch the water, the Jordan will be cut off." The priests stepped forward. The water stopped. The river parted. Israel crossed on dry ground. The God who brought them out of Egypt was the same God who would lead them to victory. There was no turning back. On the other side, before raising a sword, before the battle cry, a mysterious figure appeared to Joshua, the commander of the army of God. Joshua, gripping his weapon, demanded, "Are you for us or for our enemies?" The stranger answered, "I am not on your side nor the enemies. I stand with the Lord. I am the commander of the army of God." Joshua fell to his knees. "My Lord, what command does my God give to his servant?" "Take off your sandals, for the place where you stand is holy." "Rise, Joshua. The Lord has already delivered Jericho into your hands, but you will not take it by might or weapons. You will take it through obedience." The walls that fell. Joshua gathered his captains. The plan was bewildering. "We will not attack. We will simply march around the city, in silence." The soldiers of Jericho watched from their colossal walls, confusion turning to mockery. For 6 days, the ritual was the same. March. Silence. Wait. Then came the 7th day. The priests marched 7 times. The trumpets, the shofars, pierced the air, shaking the city. On the final circuit, Joshua gave the single command, "Now shout, for the Lord has given you the city." A deafening roar, and in that instant, the massive walls of Jericho began to shake. They cracked, they crumbled, they fell. Amid the judgment, God remembered mercy. In the rubble, one house stood firm. Rahab's house, with the scarlet cord hanging in the window. She and her family were saved. From her lineage, centuries later, the Messiah himself would be born. The price of sin victory emboldened them. The next target, Ai, a small town, an easy target. The spies were arrogant. No need to send the whole army. Ai is weak. But when Israel attacked, they were routed. 36 men fell. Joshua fell to his knees, crying, "Lord, why have you abandoned us?" "Israel has sinned," God answered. "Someone among you has stolen what is mine." Until the sin is purged, you will not prevail. The culprit, Achan. He had taken gold and a Babylonian robe from Jericho, hidden them beneath his tent. He confessed, but his greed had cost the lives of his countrymen. The sin was purged. Joshua learned the hard lesson. Israel prevailed not by strength or numbers, but by obedience. When they turned from sin, the Lord fought for them. The day the sun stood. Still 5 kings united, armies mobilized, marching against the Gibeonites, who had tricked Joshua into a peace pact. Trapped, the Gibeonites sent a desperate plea. "Don't abandon us, Joshua." Joshua and his army marched all night. At daybreak they ambushed the 5 armies. The enemy panicked, but as they fled, God intervened. Hailstones, like boulders, rained down from heaven. More foes died by God's storm than by Israel's swords. But the sun was setting. Joshua knew that if night fell, the enemy would escape. He raised his hand and roared to the heavens, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon. Moon, halt over Aijalon Valley." And for the first time in history, the sun stopped. The moon froze. God heard a man's voice. The battle raged until Israel triumphed completely. The war for Canaan was not Joshua's, it was the Lord's. The final charge. 31 kings were defeated. Kingdom after kingdom fell. The war was over. The land was Israel's. It was time to divide it. Caleb, now 85 years old, stood before his old friend. "Joshua, you and I were there when we believed the promise. Now I am 85, yet I fight like the day we left Egypt. Give me the land God swore to me. Give me Hebron, and with the Lord's help, I'll drive out the giants who live there." Joshua smiled. Faith is always rewarded. Hebron was granted. Years passed. Joshua grew old. He had fought his battles and led his people. Now it was time to depart. He gathered the nation for a final charge. "Hear me, Israel. The Lord gave you this land. He delivered you from your enemies. But I warn you, if you turn from him, if you serve the gods of these nations, disaster will come. So today, choose whom you will serve." He paused, his voice unwavering. "But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Joshua died at 110. An era ended, but Israel's story was just beginning. Though peace reigned, the tribes would soon forget. In the next generation, when there was no king in Israel, each would do as they saw fit. And so would dawn the age of the judges. Music swells, then fades slowly. Joshua proved that faithfulness to God brings victory, that every single promise of God will be fulfilled. But when the ultimate victory is won, and the land is secured, what will you choose to fight for?